Today, I'm going to talk about reparenting. I outline these steps and how to do the work, and I want to make sure that everyone has access to them. So we're going to go over them here. Healthy development in childhood depends on getting our intrinsic needs met. We are born completely dependent on the parent figures or caregivers around us to meet our needs in three main areas. The first area is our physical needs. Our body needs nutrients, oxygen, water for all of our cells and organs to run. Our body also needs movement and moments of rest or restorative sleep at night. The second group of needs are our emotional needs. We all need to feel safe, to feel secure, to feel supported. We need to feel connected and belonged in relationships where we can truly be ourselves. The third group of needs are called spiritual needs. This is really emphasizing the uniqueness in our self-expression. Each of us have our own individual purpose, our own imagination, our own creativity, and we're very playful, joyful creatures. These are all our spiritual needs. So really simply, when we're thinking about physically, emotionally, spiritually, universally as individuals, we all have the same core need to be who we are, or simply to be seen, to be heard, and to be authentically expressed. Even well-meaning parents often can't consistently meet the needs of their children, either because they lack resources, they have their own unresolved trauma, or they're emotionally immature. They can't care for something else emotionally outside of themselves. And what this leaves us with is with wounds and with coping strategies that can hold us back and keep us stuck in cycles. And we can all practice reparenting, or simply meeting our own needs. Reparenting is becoming our own wise inner parent so that we can do three things. So that we can quiet our inner critic. We can notice all of those critical, judgmental voices in our mind and turn down the volume, remove our attention from those critical voices. The second thing is we can learn how to explore and validate our own perspective, our own reality, our own emotions, our own experience. The third thing is so that we can cultivate compassion and patience. We can accept ourselves along the way of our journey, exactly as we need it in childhood. So what does this look like practically? How can we start reparenting? This can be as simple as every morning before you get out of bed and get started with your day, pausing to ask yourself, what can I do for myself? When we pause to ask ourselves what we need, we're creating this space in our day and a statement to ourselves that we matter and that our care matters. Now, for some of you, what you might need is a couple of minutes alone. Others might want some time to journal or maybe some time to stretch. I know for me, every morning after coffee, I take some time to journal, and then I take some time to read in silent reflection. And then I spend some time moving my body. Could be 10, 15, 20 minutes. That's all before I get started with whatever else it is that I have to do with my day. These moments, this pause, asking ourselves, what do I need for myself, is so incredibly important because it helps us break any habits of denying or ignoring our own needs, especially important for all of you parents out there who have other people, children to care for throughout your day. It is so important to create space for your own self-care. And by consistently pausing to check in with your own body, you'll become more and more aware of knowing what it is that you need and ultimately in being able to meet your needs. So when you're practicing that pause, asking yourself what it is that you need, you can explore your needs in these 4 pillars of reparenting. The first pillar is called self-care. This looks like supporting your needs and valuing your self-worth. It could be calling a friend when you need support. It could be resting or knowing when your body needs to slow down or take a moment of rest. Or it can mean moving your body when it feels stressed or overwhelmed. This pillar of self-care, building in moments of self-care, is so important, especially when you come from a home where you didn't see your parents taking care of themselves or their bodies. This is your opportunity to build that practice or to reparent yourself through self-care. The second pillar is called loving discipline. Loving discipline involves creating new habits or new boundaries with ourselves by making and keeping Small promises. I want to emphasize the smallness of the promise. This could be an activity, an exercise that takes us anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes a day, no more than 10 minutes. The smallness of this promise is so important because it allows the promise to be approachable so that we can begin to build trust or follow through with our own word. So many of us have made a million promises to ourselves, created a million different routines that we weren't able to keep, tried to set a boundary and taken it right down. So if we've self-betrayed or neglected our care in those ways, make the commitment to making and keeping small promises. It could look like reading 5 pages in a new book, or sitting in stillness for 2 minutes, maybe stretching for 5 minutes, or taking 5 deep belly breaths, or journaling for 3 to 5 minutes. The third pillar of reparenting is called emotional regulation. This is the ability to navigate our emotional states in flexible, intolerant, and adaptive ways. Really simply, being responsive instead of reactive. When we start to feel that overwhelming fight or flight reaction, our blood starts to race, our muscles become tense, we want to scream and yell or run away. In that moment, we can practice pausing, doing 3 deep, slow belly breaths, maybe putting your hand on your belly to help you out. Calming your body through your breath will help calm your mind. It'll help give you access to that new response rather than relying on that old habitual reaction. Now, emotional regulation, as I'm sure many of you are thinking or have the experience, it is not easy. But the more you practice, the more you'll develop self-trust and self-confidence in your ability to navigate your emotions responsibly. The fourth pillar of reparenting is rediscovering a sense of childlike wonder or awe. This is learning how to play, being spontaneous, creating moments for creativity, and finding joy in the simple things. All of those states are really natural for children. But as we age, we often lose touch with those things. I mean, even think about the messages that you received growing up. Did you see your parents play? Did they say anything about play or the appropriateness of play? Or is everything focused on work? Were they creative? Did they always want you to do something productive or always focused on your achievements? Because that was the case for so many of us, it is so important to begin to practice doing things without an agenda, without a focus on a specific outcome, doing things simply because we enjoy them. And this can look like finding a new hobby, taking a lesson in something that you've been interested in for a while. It could also look like putting aside some time to draw, create, or build something, or maybe even learning a new language. Now, of course, these practices might be difficult at first. Some of you might not even understand what it is that you like or what you want to do, what your passions are. Be patient with yourself and spend some time in self-discovery. Take the time that you didn't get in childhood to explore and to rediscover who you really are. Use these pillars as a blueprint for reparenting yourself. Make that daily small commitment to check in with yourself and to take the small steps every day in reparenting, being patient with yourself as you heal the leftover wounds from your childhood. I want to hear from you. Have any of you practiced reparenting yourself? Let me know how it's going in the comments.